All right, thanks all of you who are coming in here today. As we have more people joining, we're going to give them a few more minutes before we get started. There are going to be a few polls we'll put up there to keep you occupied. So hold tight. We'll start here in about 2 minutes. Again, thanks for all of you who are coming in. About 1 more minute, we'll get started. A few polls are coming up here to keep you occupied. We'll start in about a minute. All right, well, welcome everyone. This is Jake. I'm a Navy veteran and CEO of Localvest. Thank you for joining us for today's event, which is launched with Localvest. Localvest is a marketplace where investors and veteran entrepreneurs connect to build America's fastest growing companies. So we are veterans and founders ourselves, and we're on a mission to build the largest community of veterans investing and supporting veteran entrepreneurs. Because we believe that the sense of duty, the grit, and the determination that we had when we're serving our country carries over into the business world. So every company on our platform is led by one or more veterans or military spouses. And we make connections by hosting events like this one and sharing opportunities with the thousands in our ever-growing network. And we also market on digital platforms, which allows us to expand the reach to even more investors. And then in the background, we have tools that help you track and engage with potential investors efficiently. So here are my calls to action for you all. If you are an investor, sign up for the platform. It's free, but that will let you see even more deals that are currently live than the 4 that you're going to see today. And you'll also be in the first in line to hear about some new ones that are coming out. We have a few that are come right after the 4th of July holiday. If you're raising capital and you're just seeing how this works, I encourage you to reach out to us and we can discuss how we can help you get more leads from people who understand you as a veteran and even make that first step into digital marketing if you're not sure where to go. And if you don't fit either of those categories, but you want to help in our mission to connect investors and veteran-led companies, just reach out directly to me and let's see how we could potentially work together. A few things about how today operates. We have 4 companies sharing their opportunities. And so each is going to share a pitch presentation with you. And I'll come back after each one. We'll ask a few questions. This is a Zoom webinar, which means you can see us, you can hear us, but we cannot see or hear you. But the chat is live. So if you do have a question, you can ask it there. If we don't ask you your question during the session, either us or someone from the companies, we do have the ability to record it and we'll be able to get the answers for you later offline. And we'll also be dropping some helpful information to you along the way. So keep checking the chat. We do have some polls along the way. So I put a few of those in there about setting up a conversation with one of the presenters. Honestly, this is the first conversation you should have with these 4 companies. You see anything you like, encourage you, click, say, yes, I'd like to attend or talk to them more, and we'll get you hooked up that way. And if you're worried about furiously taking notes, trying to copy things down, not a problem. Everyone who signed up is going to get a recording sent to the email that you signed up with, and you get all the links to connect with everybody and how to learn more about the companies. So with that, we have 4 incredible companies today, and I'm excited to let them tell you about what they have to offer. So let's get things started. Our first company today is BATTEN. We have 3 gentlemen with us today from the company. We have the CEO and founder of BATTEN First, which is Patrick Robinson, who after college joined the Army, made it to the rank of captain, and then after the military, had a long career as a leader in real estate and finance in New York City. And he's also been proactive in wanting to keep his family safe, which is a big part of why he founded BATTEN. Also with him is Jake Johnson. He's the COO and co-founder of BATTEN. And he spent the first 10 years of his career in strategy consulting and M&A, helping Fortune 500 companies solve some of their biggest challenges. He studied entrepreneurship and finance at Gonzaga. And the third one is Bob Newman, who is a senior executive advisor at BATTEN, but he is a retired command master chief as a Navy SEAL, and he comes with a wealth of knowledge on being prepared for the unexpected and understanding that the right tools can make all the difference in tough situations. So I'll turn it to you three at BATTEN to share your opportunity with all of us today.
All right. Hey, thanks so much, Jake, and thank you all for dialing in today. So why BATTEN and why today? You know, with more people online every day, cybercrime is up 600% since 2021. Home invasion and violent crime is terrifying for anyone to contemplate, let alone for your own family members. And with more than $145 billion in damages from natural disasters in 2021, and it's increasing year over year. So what's the current problem today? These threats, they're ever evolving, they're increasing in frequency and in complexity. These are highly fragmented markets today, and they have an overwhelming amount of solutions and offerings. Typically, individuals approach security from a one-dimensional threat perspective. There's a huge barrier to finding the right solution, and there's a significant time and research required for our consumers. Often people make the wrong purchase, only purchase one item, or they don't make any purchases at all, leaving their families vulnerable. What they really need today is a chief security officer, and that's where we come in at BATTEN. We simplify the purchase of cyber, home, and emergency security solutions to keep families safe. How do we do this? Well, by our three-dimensional protection, our solutions are researched and vetted by industry experts to keep your family safe at home, online, and in an emergency. Our curated marketplace offers the best-in-class solutions by our experts, tailored offerings at 3 price points, which makes the selection process fast and easy so people can enjoy a decision process that's stress-free. Personalized recommendations, a quick quiz developed by our security experts provide unique recommendations to people based on their specific needs, leaving them confident and making the right purchase decisions. And education and empowerment. Between our expert endorsements, our broad library of resources, BATTEN empowers our consumers to be active, proactive, and take action. It's time to batten down. Our major brand differentiator is our experts. They do all of the research and evaluations of our products for our consumers. These are 3 of the best people on the planet for their selected industries. They sift through thousands of products and make the best recommendations in their respective verticals. We've got Kurt Sanger, an ex-Marine who's a cyber expert with nearly a quarter of a century of experience. Kurt McDowell, an ex-police officer and home security expert with over 40 years of full spectrum security experiences. And Eddie Penny, an old teammate of mine, a retired Navy SEAL who served at the Pinnacle National Mission Force, and he's an expert in total security and personal preparedness. Over to you, Jake.
Thanks, Bob. So there's clearly a need for this, but how big is the market? So over the past few years, there's been a massive acceleration across these 3 segments due to the current environment from climate change to the pandemic. The 2022 market size for consumer cybersecurity, emergency prep, and home security is roughly $90 billion and forecasted to grow at 11% annually to $202 billion by 2023. This is led by the strong expected growth of the consumer cybersecurity segment. We're extremely bullish on cyber, and the growth factor of 15% is conservatively forecasted. So how do we access this massive market? Well, the key is building relationships with companies that own the market. Today, we're pushing 70 affiliate relationships and have 4 unique channel partners across some of the biggest names in the space. Today, I want to highlight a few of our partners. The first being Blink by Chubb. Chubb is a preeminent brand in the personal insurance space. They recently rolled out a consumer cybersecurity policy called Blink. We're their second channel partner, and the first being SoFi. This is a unique arrangement in the sense that we're compensated for every lead we send their way. It's as simple as clicking the link on our website, and we get paid for it the second they land on the partner site. The next partner I want to talk about is Aura. Aura is a consumer cybersecurity product that covers all of a consumer's basic primary threat points. It's an affordable product at $12.99 a month, and the best part about this partnership is we're paid $150 for the simple $12.99 purchase. That's an effective commission rate of over 500%. So how do we access these customers? So there's clearly a massive market, but we need to drive customers. The tip of our spear is SEO. We've committed to an organic growth strategy, and we're seeing very positive results. Over the past 12 months, we've averaged 29% month-over-month growth, and we're going to hit 10,000 visitors this month. To amplify our traction and access specific demographics, we're building a roster of ambassadors and partners that provide access to a massive amount of social media followers, YouTube followers, and emails.
Hi, I'm Captain Patrick Robinson here. So where are we today? The big picture was to have a company that takes proactive family safety to the mainstream, kind of like insurance is mainstream today. And where we are today is we're an internet marketplace. So a consumer comes to our website, they make a product selection, they click through to the end product manufacturer owner, they have a transaction, and we receive a commission for it. It's also known as affiliate marketing in the internet terms. We also have a little bit of recurring revenue for any purchases made for home alarms or software that is monitored. For the rest of 2023, our next revenue expansion, we're going to be focusing on what Jake mentioned, which is Chubb Insurance, their Blink product, which is the first to market consumer cybersecurity policy. That in and of itself is a huge opportunity for us to expand our client base to something that is the first to market. Going forward, there are multiple ways to increase revenue. Number one, subscription agreement, where we provide somebody a cybersecurity advisor, just like you would have a private banker. Secondly, is a direct sales effort to Fortune 1000, to their human resources departments to have Batten put on their benefits platform. We also have geographic expansion and vertical expansion, meaning we could go into, for example, risk mitigation in the law sector. So while we are today a commission-based revenue company, we did that because we wanted to be capital light. We have a lot of expansion growth in the future baked in and already starting to do pilot programs. What is the opportunity here for you to join our team? Well, we have a seed round that is targeted at $1.5 million. To date, we've done around $500,000, so we have $1 million left to go. The structure is in a safe note with a $5 million valuation cap. This money is going to be used almost exclusively for customer acquisition programs, activating our celebrity endorsers, our brand ambassadors. It's doing all the typical channel testing and digital marketing, and potentially bringing on some additional internal talent. But we are right now ready to go, ready to launch and blast off, but we just need the capital to fuel the fire. So in closing, we believe there's never been a better time to launch a family security company. It's a very shaky world, and we have a solution for people to make it fast, easy, and affordable for them to protect their families. The market is huge, and the business is almost infinitely scalable. Another thing is we take our fiduciary responsibilities very seriously. We will be good stewards of your capital, and we will be transparent in what we're doing at all times. It's a big opportunity. We want you to join our team. We thank you for your time and attention this morning. And we want you to stay safe and batten down the hatches. Back to you, Jake, from Localvest.
Okay, great. Yes, so thank you all of Team Batten here to go through. I do have a few questions I want to ask you here. So I have to ask, the video pops up. If you all haven't seen the video, it's awesome. All of a sudden you got Greg Olson tossing. Can you tell me more about that connection with Greg Olson and Batten?
Sure. So Greg Olson, the former Panther NFL player, Greg is an equity partner here at Batten. He's our CFO, or Chief Family Officer, and he's our lead brand ambassador. He's our lead celebrity person, our mainstream national focus to represent our company. And the reason why we went after Greg versus a lot of other people we were considering is, in football, he was known as Mr. Reliable. He has an image and an energy about him that makes him super compatible with our corporate culture. He has integrity. He's a team player. He's a family man, and he's very likable. He's an enjoyable guy to be around and a lot of fun. Something you may not know, just a couple of weeks ago, Greg won an Emmy Award for his broadcasting for Fox News and specifically the Super Bowl. And we think he's an absolute rising star, destined for huge success outside of sports. And just like Batten is, we're going to be a rising star and destined for success. So we think he's a perfect fit for our company.
And you mentioned some other, like using some of the funding for further ambassadors. What kind of things are you looking for in your influencer celebrity ambassadors?
Patrick, I can take that one. Again, just like Greg, we want people that align with our mission and targeting demographics that align with our mission. So someone, Greg's got a certain demographic covered. We have another one identified that we're currently working with, and we're kicking the tires on another one. And the key is accessing key demographics with big followings. There's an individual we're currently talking to that has over 10 million social and YouTube followers, and that's a huge opportunity. He's also a veteran as well. So the key is aligning with our mission, major reach, and targeting a demographic that we want to access.
Great.
I would
thanks.
just add,
Mhm.
quickly to that, Jake, is that, using all of our Navy SEAL and ambassadors in that military patriot space is a great place for us to build a very enthusiastic community, Batten community. So that's going to be a heavy focus on ours this year as well.
Great. Well, great. Unfortunately, I think we're close on our time here. I know that you all probably have more questions, so I encourage any of you who want to reach out to the Batten team. We'll send you connections how to do it. Drop something into the chat if you want to do it. But it's your opportunity to ask them questions about what you've heard and anything new you have there. We're going to put a poll up on the screen and here to give you a chance to be able to interact with them as well. So thank you very much to Team Batten. Our next group is Combat Bound, and we have Paul and Emil. So Emil Reynolds is the founder and managing member for Combat Bound. He was an Army Ranger and earned his undergrad degree from the University of Maryland in College Park and later his MPS from Penn State University. And his military experience enabled to understand the needs and to visualize and conceptualize innovative technologies revolving around lethality, protection, and rescue. And with him today is Paul Meyer, and he's a partner with Ash Business Advisory and currently serves as CEO of 55 Industries, which is one of Ash Business portfolio companies in the aerospace parts and manufacturing sector. So Paul is a 1988 graduate of the Air Force Academy, former commandant of the Air Force Test Pilot School, and a current United Airlines flight officer. So I want to thank both of you for joining us, and we look forward to hearing more about Combat Bound.
Thank you, Jake. My name is Paul Meyer. I'm one of the Ash Business Advisory Partners. Ash Biz is a team of experienced business executives, CEOs, and other industries leaders who are led by 4 partners and have been friends for 35 years since we were all at the Air Force Academy. Ash Biz invests in and incubates and accelerates small to mid-sized companies. We have invested in Combat Bound and wanted to present what we believe is a fantastic business opportunity for the members of Localvest and the Localvest network. Having said that, I'd like to take the pleasure to introduce the CEO of Combat Bound, Emil Reynolds.
Thanks, Paul. Good afternoon. My name is Emil Reynolds, founder and CEO of Combat Bound. Thank you for your interest and for joining us today. So we're warfighters, supporting warfighters, addressing gaps, seams, and redundancies we faced while in uniform, and then later as government civilians and contractors. We use our deployed combat experience to inspire our innovations, and we've been doing so for several years now. Next slide. So this is who and what we are. We're a technology and services company focused on defense and first response with an emphasis on rescue, lethality, and protection. We're certified as a SDVOSB for federal set-aside opportunities and have a similar certification with Virginia. We're also minority-owned certified. So you'll see in the brief, we aren't a one-trick pony. and we focus on problems both here and abroad that support the interests of the United States and our partners. Your opportunity to become a part of Combat Bound as an investor is why we're talking today. We're executing a $3 million Series A raise for 15% equity of the company with economic rights equal to the founder's shares. These two systems that you see on the slide are the main focus of the brief, since the capital raise is intended to bring these two innovations to market on the heels of recent successes for both of them. You'll see that the Puka addresses protection and lethality, and the Rescue addresses rescue and protection, both enabling multifunctional use and a decrease in cognitive and physical loads. Next. So starting with our Puka, our electronic warfare capability, really what we saw was that individual warfighters and small teams could not fight effectively in the EW spectrum with evolving threats, especially in near peer and peer environments. And with the current state of things in the world, we'll probably be seeing that kind of conflict soon. So current EW systems are expensive, heavy, they require specialized training to operate, and they do not provide protection down to small teams. At the smallest, you're still looking at an assault pack full of equipment. Fighting in the EM spectrum means detecting and classifying enemy signals, locating the source, and then fighting, and then attacking with cyber electronic and kinetic weapons. So the maneuver community has called for a cyber grenade for around 10 years. I know this because I was there when the initial argument happened between the Maneuver Center of Excellence and the Cyber Center of Excellence. The Puka is the closest technology has come to it, and even platforms in use by the special operations community globally have not come close in form factor and capability. In fact, if units were available, sales would have started last year to SOCOM, followed by Canadian Special Operations. So our solution, called the Puka, began in my garage with commercial parts in 2016, where I built the first prototypes, combining passive detection, multi-band RCIED, and signal jamming man-pack systems with a size goal of fitting into an existing issued pouch. So if you look at the bottom right, or excuse me, if you look at the center in the smaller pictures, that's a canteen pouch, and it fit in there. The initial versions fit in there with plenty of room to spare. It's since evolved into this multifunctional software-defined platform that has excited special forces operators around the globe. We're on the 4th version of this design, and with the Puka, we're bringing a new weapon to market that changes the nature of warfare and mission planning. So picture this, during operations in Ukraine, or really anywhere, they could use Pukas in its small form factor to protect troops from IEDs, find the enemy, directionally jam them, hack their communications, and then hit their safe house or wherever they may be. On the model, the gray patches show the placement of antennas. So these antennas are key to the Puka's multiple functions, multiple modes, and its ability to maintain mission configurable status. It's important to note, though, that you don't need to carry all of these antennas at the same time, so you save weight. It's configurable based on what your mission set is. Multiple Pukas can work together and will fully integrate into today's tactical networks and also support operational and strategic command and control needs. From this capital raise, we'll create a minimum viable product that our special operations friends can use in combat validations in the field. And that minimum viable product, because it's software defined, will let us create Puka in form factors for any platform, including drones, robots, tanks, etc. So we detect and locate the enemy first, take out their comms. The software defined system also enables custom capability suites, such as detection and direction finding for civilian search and rescue, disaster relief, and sensitive site security. Moving into the next slide. Here we've got the immediate combat casualty extraction. So we saw a need for this capability firsthand in multiple types of environments in Afghanistan, Iraq, Africa, and Southeast Asia, where we've all deployed. How combat effective do these teams look? So if you look in these photos, the one on the left is actually a photo of CASEVAC training during the Special Forces medic course at Fort Liberty. And you're still looking at a 2-person drag with the inability to keep both hands on your weapon. Next slide. So when we started working this, the goal was and remains casualty extraction with one person who can still use their weapon instead of two or more that become combat ineffective. The goal is to get that casualty out of harm's way as quickly as possible with the least amount of cognitive and physical load. That's why our rescue litter can be broken down and used in its parts or as a whole system. So that means you can use the leads to drag somebody out. You don't have to deploy the entire litter. It's METTC responsive. And if you're not familiar with that acronym, it's mission, enemy, troops, terrain, time, and civilians. For commercial applications, we've got interest from outdoorsmen, search and rescue, asset recovery teams, and office building evacuation as well. Next. So our awards and irons in the fire. We've won 2 SBIRs and executed them. Well, we executed the first one for the rescue. We're in the middle of executing the second one for the Puka. If you're not familiar with SBIRs, it's like Shark Tank for DoD with generally a 10% or lower win rate. A phase 1 win is also justification for a US government-wide sole source contract. The 2 Air Force phase 2s we're pursuing are each worth $1.25 million, and the funding support product development, testing, certification, and commercialization. Awardee notifications are expected in August and December. We've also been doing cyber operations and cybersecurity support since 2021. Revenue right now is about $650K per quarter. We've been supporting NSA and Cybercom up at Fort Meade. We also recently won a NATO contract for our services division on the use of synthetic environment for cyberspace exercises. Our partner in that says their feasibility studies are usually a gateway for follow-on support designed around study results. And we've got 2 proposals in to support that for follow-on work. This April, I got to do a trade mission to the Philippines. We're working on 2 programs at their request. Matter of fact, the proposals just went in this week. And through an acquisition contract in India, we've responded with proposals to provide capabilities and services to their MOD, including but not limited to both the Puka and the rescue. Next slide. So here we have a slide breakdown. I know it looks like a pizza, but at the top left are our current customers. And then we've got a section for our advisors and mentors. We've got our Puka partners listed, our rescue partners listed. SEI kind of treads the middle between those 2. We've got our innovation partners, and we've also got our service and software partners. So this is a majority of the folks that we work with, but not all of them. Our partners are typically multifaceted that aren't just in one quadrant. And we're happy to provide introductions to anybody here that sees somebody they want to work with. This is team sport for small businesses, especially within DoD, that ultimately benefits both business and our warfighters. So for a small company like us, we recognize that a big one could swallow us up for our intellectual properties such as Puka. And as you see, we're working with a couple of big companies already. And we're good with that as long as the deal covers everyone's interests. So this is our leadership team. We've got decades of warfighter experience globally, and we're uniquely poised to take Combat Bound to new heights of success. We're a team of warfighters from different services and government agencies that comprise a diverse pool of talent and experience in not only technical application and development, but major program management and contract management, both within and outside of DoD. More information is available on the team in follow-up one-on-one meetings and in our PPM.
All right, great, thanks. I have a question for you. I think you had the leadership group up there. I think that might be our most diverse from the services standpoint. I'm kind of intrigued. How has it worked out having so many different services in one company?
Actually, it's a lot of fun and it's super effective because we're all bringing our experience from our different backgrounds over time. It's also fun because we rib each other just like we did back in uniform, based on the different services that we've been in. It's super effective taking the different talents and blending the viewpoints. Frank got used to seeing things from high altitude and always wants the big picture. Lance and John are engineers, so they don't press the I believe button. It's more like prove it button. And Dave and I are just happy we live in houses and aren't sleeping on the ground anymore unless we want to.
Exactly. That totally makes sense. On the product side, you talked about the raise that you do to really go into development commercialization. So how far away are you from commercializing?
So the major initiatives are based on the fact that the rescue and the Puka are already eligible for federal government wide non-compete contracts based on the SBIR Accords. But we've got a lot of opportunities, and again, not just CONUS, but OCONUS as well. For the rescue, we've received great feedback from 2 Air Force units, the SEALs and state police SWAT teams, as well as search and rescue teams. And we're working with the Army Medical Center of Excellence as well, to fill the niche between, your typical fold out litters and your sked. We're already in production for the rescue and are looking to significantly ramp up our manufacturing and begin satisfying demand in new DoD initiatives. For the Puka, the funding will allow us to expedite software coding and prototype assembly, which will allow us to quickly get the initial capability unit in the hands of multiple Air Force and Army units, which have asked for functional systems for a period of time now. Then we'll be able to be in major production and get it all into the hands of units and organizations which have already expressed acquisition desires, among them USASOC and other units within SOCOM and Canadian Special Forces.
I know I have more questions, and some of you probably do too, but we're getting close on time here. So I encourage all of you, if you have any interest in what they've been talking about here for Combat Bound, you got the poll up here. We'll make sure you get connected. Ask those questions one-on-one. It costs you nothing to do it, to go in and find out more about what Combat Bound is doing, because I know there was a lot that you didn't have up there, a chance to learn some more. So thank you very much to both of you coming in and presenting on Combat Bound. And we will go to our next company, which is IMMERTEC. And with us today, we have Eric Maltese, who is the CEO and co-founder of IMMERTEC. He is a Marine Corps veteran, deployed to Operation Iraqi Enduring Freedom, and he's also worked on the personal security detail from January 2005 to December 2006. And he was on the White House Advanced Team Security Detail, so making sure that the president was safe going to the 2008 Olympics in Beijing. And then he was also a Marine Embassy Guard with the U.S. Department of State from January of 2006 to November of 2009. So that is one of the more unique backgrounds of someone that we've had out here on the different security details. But Eric is going to talk to us about something very different from that, but actually equally as exciting to go through. So I will turn over to you about IMMERTEC.
Thank you, Jake. Appreciate that. Do I have control of the deck?
You should.
Okay, perfect. I do now. All right. My name is Eric Maltese, CEO and co-founder of IMMERTEC. And as Jake pointed out, I was in the Marine Corps for 5 wonderful years and got to do a lot during my tenure. Post leaving the Marine Corps, I built multiple e-commerce companies and eventually sold them, and then started IMMERTEC, where we support physician training and collaboration. Some of you might not be aware, 5 billion people on this planet lack access to safe and affordable surgery. And that's not just a international problem. 60% of Americans don't have access to trauma level 1 and 2. And according to the World Health Organization, for us to combat this problem, we need to double the amount of physicians that we currently have by 2030. So you might ask, how are physicians trained? What's the method? And the golden standard of training is see one, do one. It requires physicians to give up multiple days of family time, of private practice time, and potential earnings to observe a case or a procedure so they can learn it. We built a solution that leverages technology in order to have someone step into the operating room through a VR headset and experience everything as if they were there. Let me share this short video with you so that you can see that in play. 1 second. Unfortunately, the audio, at least on my side, didn't appear to, but good thing we have text over the top of it. But essentially, to describe it, we allow with one camera position in the operating room, our IP allows people to step in and observe everything from the instrument tray to the anesthesiology, as well as we integrate and amplify the operating room by connecting to the Da Vinci, the navigator, the CT, any type of equipment that's in the operating room, so that the physicians can observe everything and have a unique individual experience. This is a really big problem in healthcare in general, over a $4 billion problem, and in the past 3 years, we've already revenue generating with 6 of the top 10 medical device manufacturers on the planet. And in our sales cycle, we have the remaining 4. To put that into perspective, the top 10 medical device manufacturers make up 40% of the $550 billion medical device industry. So our go-to-market strategy is very specific. There is government requirements for medical device manufacturers to publicly disclose on a website called Open Payments exactly who are their training physicians. We reach out to them, we partner with them, they introduce us to the hospital that they work in. So we're in everywhere from Stanford to Emory. Our systems have been placed over the past few years post the pandemic. Once in clinical use, we have those same physicians introduce us to the medical device manufacturers that they train with, and they partner with us so that they can decrease the cost of training people on the safe and effective use of their products, and they could sell ultimately more products, and patients are able to receive better access to medical care regardless of where they're located. Our business model is simple. We have a monthly subscription that scales over time based upon the number of locations and doctors that each medical device manufacturer would gain access to. Typically, a medical device manufacturer will have a faculty of physicians and that are from West Coast to East Coast that have different techniques and different reasons to that they'd want to share their procedures with other potential customers. We start a customer in year 1 around $100,000, and then by year 3 we can get them to over $1 million, and that's by adding locations and access. We're super excited to report that that our initial pilots in 2022, after getting into clinical use, where it went extremely well, we got extraordinary NPS scores, and all the companies increased their SaaS subscriptions from year 1 to year 2, anywhere from 300 to 1,000%. And we're the only company in the market that can do specifically what we do. While there are multiple companies that do a Zoom-like experience in the operating room, which provides only a small 15-degree window into the operating room with very little perspective and no customization per user, or there's a large group of companies that are trying to solve this problem through video game simulations, which unfortunately don't give the ability for the user to ask questions. And when you're going to adopt a medical device and cut someone open to put an implant or to perform a procedure, you simply need specific questions answered in order to gain confidence. And so we provide a fully immersive 3D experience that allows each person to have exactly the information that they need, as well as to have their questions answered so that they can gain confidence and help patients in their population. And we're really proud to report that not only have we protected this with IP, we have 18 trade secrets. We now have two patents that we just got last week, our second, and then we have 6 that are submitted. Additionally, we've received an NIH grant, a SIBR phase 1, and we're expecting in September a SIBR NIH phase 2 of 1.8 million. And we've got multiple NSFs as well that we expect that are non-dilutive. And we have strong research collaborations and partnerships with some of the world's top teaching institutions like Johns Hopkins and Stanford, and even in London as we start to explore international expansion. Of course, none of this is possible without a world-class team and group of board members. Joe Doherty, one of our board members, was the 25-year executive at J&J, responsible for their largest M&A in history. as well as the president of Olympus, all divisions. And he is a West Point grad himself as well. He's been helping me drive this company and definitely a subject matter expert. He's made a bunch of great introductions and a team that come from the world's best software companies, medical companies, and we're all hyper focused on solving this problem. And while we work in multiple specialties, anywhere from urology to interventional cardiology, and so we built out a medical advisory board of world-renowned experts in each one of these specialties that support us in understanding the nuances of providing the best didactics for their individual environment. And we are here today seeking 5 million. We've actually, as of yesterday, we have commitments of 3.2 million, and we've got some great investors that have backed us. This money is going to be used to increase our scale and growth, to grow vertically and horizontally with our existing customers, and to sign new smaller medical device manufacturers. Now that we've locked in the top 10 medical device manufacturers and then have set the trend in the industry. We expect to grow over 50 new medical device customers over next year, and then to reach profitability. Any question? Let me get to the.
All right, I can ask some questions in here. So I don't know if this is like NFL day for us. We had Greg Olson, but then I noticed in the corner you had Tom Brady as an investor, like his fund and investor. Can you tell me more about why Tom Brady is invested in IMMERTEC?
Yeah, so Tom invested last year. If you're familiar with their franchise TB12, they, now that he's retired, at least for now, for this week, he and Alex Guerrero are going to expand the TB12 franchise next year to over 300 franchises, and they are going to use our platform in order to ensure the standard of care and quality and for all their franchisees and through our platform. And so they decided to invest as well, because they took like 2 years to find a platform that could do what they were looking for. So we're super excited about the partnership.
So it's interesting you're saying that. I know some people in the chat, as I was looking, talked about other industries. So this isn't necessarily just limited to medical then.
Yeah, so we focused on medical first because of we found 14 million payments on open payments, demonstrating a strong need for this in this industry. And we think focus is everything in business, but we've now started to expand as we're growing, and we've got a partnership that we're working with Verizon for a $15 million small business set aside to where we can start to support the DHA and potentially the VA, and as well as what we're doing with Tom Brady. And we're working, yes, we think that in 2024 the goal is to reach profitability and then to expand across other verticals and really scale this out to many different use cases.
And then Apple Vision Pro came out, what was it, a couple months ago? How does that factor in? Does that ruin something? What does that do for you?
Yeah, well, that's awesome for us because
Really?
so we are a software company. We're not a hardware company. So we're device agnostic. We'll support anything. So similar like a TV show, it doesn't matter what TV you're watching it on. But in our case, the Apple Vision Pro is great because their vision, unlike Facebook, which we currently use their headset, their vision was more about making a artificial video game world that you can escape. Apple Pro's vision is to create technologies that connect. So we already got the SDK1. We were one of the first people that Apple gave the Apple Pro headset to, so we could develop our technology into it, and it'll be one of the first apps in the App Store for people once they start to buy their Vision Pros next year. So we're super excited about that partnership.
That's okay. I didn't put the two and two together. That was a software company really at its heart. So I think I know we're closer in time. I have to tell you, I don't think my audio worked either. We will provide a way when we send a link out to all the back end to see the video. I encourage you all to watch it. So I watched it a few weeks ago to go through it. It's really interesting. It says a lot more about how you can really put that doctor right next to the surgeon who's working, and just that whole experience that they would get and not have to be in the room. It's very impressive, and the video does a good job with it. So I do encourage you to go back and look at it. And so we'll send that the link to all the ways to connect with Eric and others. It's a very interesting company that you have here, so I encourage you all to reach out. And we'll put
Jake,
the
could
poll. You bet.
Yeah, could I say something real quick, Jake?
Sure.
One thing I would say is that it's kind of funny. On our platform, we take 4 videos, overlays, could be a Da Vinci robot, could be a video like that, and then each person can manipulate it, and we don't have any situations like that because essentially we're the most sophisticated version of Teams or Zoom, right, in the operating room. So it's pretty exciting that this, I mean, while it was a mess up and I encourage people to try to look at the video, it's an example of our IP, right? To be able to, it takes a lot to be able to do that. Even Zoom can't really manage to do that with one video and not have glitches. It's a tough thing to pull off, and we do it with 4 independent videos, 16K worth of content.
Amazing, amazing. Well, thank you very much, Eric. Well, we have our time for our last company to come in. So of course, we have the Academy Fund. Lou Baker is with us today, able to present. Normally we've got Bill to go through, but Lou is going to take it from here. He's an Army veteran with 25 years of experience in wealth management, formerly with Morgan Stanley as a VP, but he's currently the principal of Rock Creek Wealth Planners and Advisors, which is an independent RIA or registered investment advisory firm. And for the Academy Fund, he's building relationships nationwide with investors looking to participate in this opportunity to invest alongside military service connected leaders. But I'll let him tell you more about the Academy Fund, about real estate, part of our presentation today. So I'll turn it over to you, Lou.
Thanks, Jake. Appreciate you. This is the disclaimer that's necessary. I'll just flash it for a couple of seconds because it came at the beginning of the presentation in general. Probably says about the same for everybody that's presented thus far. So I'll flash this title slide because I want to spend a moment a little bit later talking about those 3 words: intelligence, integrity, and grit, when we talk about the due diligence process of the fund. But I'll start with the fact that I'm just one of the co-managers of the fund. I happen to manage it with these 3 Naval Academy graduates, but they're pretty good guys nonetheless. But I'm the only West Pointer on the team. Bill Militello, I've known since 2004. We've been doing business together for quite some time. As you can see from there, he's been in the private investment world for quite some time, raising nearly $500 million in equity capital for investors. Brian Witten is actually the real estate professional that was brought into the fund as it's his chassis, Hornet Capital, that the Academy Fund really was able to get it start from. It was Bill and Brian's idea to bring this product together. It was Scott Mackis's idea. Scott and Brian are classmates from the Naval Academy 2002. It was Scott's expertise that brought all of you all to the table as being the head and founder of SABM and a couple of other organizations that he's been extremely good in marketing the Academy Fund. My job is, as on the investment advisory side, what I do is I help investors and advisors that advise investors to see the Academy Fund in the proper perspective and where it might best fit them from an investment standpoint. So what do we invest in? First of all, we are not real estate investors as the Academy Fund. We lend money to real estate investors. We basically act as the bank from a primary, a first lien position. In other words, we're going to lend a real estate investor money to secure their purchase and to secure their product. So who do we invest in? We invest in short-term loans, the short-term needs of veteran borrowers, okay? We feel that these borrowers oftentimes are overlooked, and because of their lengthy service obligations, probably haven't established the same types of networks over their career as some others may have that have access to capital. So we are looking to partner these real estate veteran entrepreneurs to investors. So who can invest? Accredited investors only, simply put, the standard for the most part is any one individual who's made over $200,000 in the past couple of years and is likely to do so in the next year, as well as anyone who has a married couple at $300,000 or over with the same criteria, or anyone who has $1 million worth of assets, net worth outside of their primary residence. What I'd like to stress in this slide is that we've made $45 million worth of loans on about $16 million worth of assets under management. What that does is it stresses to you that the nature of the loans that we are making are very short-term in nature. That means we are lending money out. The borrower is either refinancing us out of the debt that we provided them with, or they're completing their project and selling it to an end user right away. So again, we've got about $16 million of assets under management at this point in time. We've made $45 million worth of loans. The average loan stays out about 7 months. All right. So again, these are very short-term loans, first lien positions, and our diversification in terms of where the loans are going. As we are picking up more and more traction, you're starting to see us pop up in more and more states, and we thank you all for that continued support. So the fund is growing, and as we are growing, we are starting to see larger and larger deals come to the table. We are currently looking at hotel deals as well as other multifamily projects, as opposed to simply the single residential real estate loans that we had started with when we first got this underway almost 3 years ago. To this point in time, we have put out, in terms of monthly distributions, we've sent out almost $1.5 million in distributions, and we are sending out just over $100,000 a month in distributions. Unlike many investments that are private in nature, the Academy Fund, although it is a private placement memorandum, it is a private fund, we're ringing your doorbell every month with a check. In other words, it is an interest, current income opportunity. If you're looking for an investment that puts money in your pocket month in and month out, this is the opportunity that you're looking for. Again, it is a private placement memorandum, but we are paying distributions out monthly. I want to go back to those 3 words that I said at the beginning of the slide: integrity, intelligence, grit. We are really looking at the character of our borrowers. What we're really trying to do with the Academy Fund is create an ecosystem of high quality people to support this veteran ecosystem. Again, you don't have to be a veteran to invest, but the investments that you are making are helping the veteran community. So we like to look at those 3 things. We like to look at the intelligence, we like to look at the integrity, and we like to look at grit. And we know that military entrepreneurs have those characteristics. So the first step in our due diligence process is to vet that individual. We also look at their capacity to take on a project of this size, right? Again, most importantly, we're putting first lien positions on a piece of collateral. All of our loans are collateralized, again, first lien position by real estate. And we're also looking at whether or not this borrower has the ability to repay the loan, what their exit strategy is to get our capital back, so we can then lend that money out to another veteran that has that capital need. Also, every loan that we do, the borrower does have to bring money to the table. So our loan to value ratio is typically around 75-25, 70-30. So the borrower is going to have to bring their capital to the table. And again, we're trying to get that money to that borrower so they can succeed. Is the investment right for you? In my business, being an investment advisor, the perfect investment has three things. Number one, it has high return. Number two, guarantees. Number three, it has liquidity. In other words, you can turn that money in, you can turn that investment into cash quickly. What I will say to you about that is that no investment has all three of those things together. But the Academy Fund does have a number of those things, a number of those characteristics. Is it guaranteed? No, it's not government guaranteed because we are lending on real estate. But the real estate is collateral for us to get our return of our capital. Is it liquid? No, it's not your CD or it's not your checking account. We don't have the ability to allow you to come in and use this as your high yield money market fund. But we ask for 90 days in the prospectus. We ask for 90 days of a heads up. So if you do need your money, we can make plans to get the money out to you. Is it high return? Well, I don't know what you consider high return is, but when we look at the rate of return for stocks unmanaged, a 10% rate of return is what we use for stocks in general, okay? So we're paying on our investors, we're paying anything under $100,000, we're paying 8.5%. Anything between 100 and 250, we're paying 9.25%. And at $250,000, we're paying 10%. And again, the historical rate of return for stocks, which is unsecured without anything, is about 10%. All right. So that's what we're doing. And again, it's our job to create that veteran ecosystem to support this really, really important group of borrowers. Every time you make a loan, you're helping a veteran expand their reach and expand their wealth building and their opportunity itself.
All right, thanks. So I don't get a chance to talk to Lou very often either. So I think my one question for you at the time is, what is your standout or favorite loan that you've seen the Academy Fund make that sticks with you?
I think the thing that really drives the point home of who you're helping is that we're helping folks that didn't even think that their next phase in life was even possible. So I'll give you an example. We helped a woman with a gym business, retired Army colonel, opened a gym and had an opportunity to expand. So with the bridge loan from the Academy Fund, we helped her buy a new facility. Not only could she run her existing operation out of it, but she was also able to get enough space under her belt that she could create a stream of rental income by renting out a portion of that space to another tenant. So we helped her really punch above her weight by not only being a business owner, but also becoming the owner of a piece of property and getting a tenant to pay the bill. So we just were a bridge to her getting that. And that kind of support is what I think is most valuable about making an investment in the Academy Fund.
I love it. That's such a great story. Like all of them, it seems like that every time I ask a different one of you, you have a different one of the stories. That's a great follow-up there. So I encourage all of you to take a chance. And if you want to learn more about the Academy Fund, talk to anybody in the leadership team, reach out and we'll make that connection for you. There'll be a spot there you can ask. So we're closing up here towards the end. I'm going to thank all the presenters today from BATTEN, Combat Bound, IMMERTEC, and the Academy Fund. I do want to put up a slide in here to go through. Now that we're far enough in the year, we're starting to track a new award here for 2023. I'm calling it the Commander-in-Chief Award. So we're tracking which service branch has the most veteran-led founders at our launch with events on Localvest. So I will tell you that right now the Marine Corps is in the lead, but the Air Force has screamed up this month with a lot of representation. Army's got some work to do. We'll just leave it at that to go, which is usually the case, but we'll see how it goes at our next event. I can already tell you, we have some very good opportunities are coming. The slate's filling up. There's a real estate opportunity I think a lot of you are gonna like that really stands out. And we also have one of our earliest Localvest successful races from a couple of years ago. They have a bunch of neat things that their company is doing, and they're ready to move to their next round. And there's an opportunity to come in the follow-on round. So success from Localvest earlier before turning into a future round that you can invest in. We're probably looking at very early August. We're confirming the dates in here, that first week, the tail end of July and August. So be on the lookout for an email. So I encourage all of you, we'll send out follow-up email. Again, look at the deal tiles, set up some time, chat with them. Even if you have any questions about what's going on, they love it. That's what this is all about, connecting you with veterans to be able to consider making investments. So I want to thank all of you for attending. And from all of us here at Localvest, I hope you have a great 4th of July holiday and see you the next time.